having EGR issues, check engine lights and stuff like that. I'm gonna show you guys how to fix that on a Detroit Series 60. Stay tuned. Hey YouTube, welcome back to another video here at Truckin' Life. So I came to check up on my truck today, and when I started it, I had the big middle finger yellow light, check engine lights. Hooked that up to the computer, and it told me that the EGR valve was stuck closed. So I'm gonna give you guys a couple of pointers on how to fix that problem. So let's go ahead and start by removing the EGR. All right. So on my particular truck, the EGR valve is very simple. It's right here. You don't really have to remove anything else. On some other trucks, you know, like on the newer DD13s, DD15s, the EGR valve is on the turbo side, and it's a little bit more difficult to get to. But on my particular truck, it's not too bad. So I've taken it off many times before. So let's go ahead and get that removed and show you guys what's up. I need some more power. Bolt one, bolt two. All right. All right, power tools, love them. Let me get the one for this one because I forgot to get it. All right, let's go ahead and, oh shit, put a little bit of juice on this just so it doesn't strip on us. It's been windy like crazy over here lately. And everything's kind of full of dirt. There we go. All right. So when you guys remove this, there's going to be a gasket here, in between here, and in between here. I'll show you guys the gasket right now in a minute. But just so you guys kind of know. There we go. Get the EGR valve off. Let me get the connector out here real quick. Come on. There we go. There we go. All right, so here we have the EGR cooler. As you guys can see, it's kind of dirty. The very first thing I check whenever I take these off is to make sure that this still is movable. You should be able to move it with your hand. It's fully closed, fully open. So it's not too horrible. I mean, it does have a couple of carbon soot. A lot of times what happens with these valves is in the cold, they'll just get stuck. You can literally just have this thing on. It'll be like that on your truck. And I'll just get a hammer and I'll just tap on it. Gets a little bit of that stuff loose. Can just tap on it, which is what I did. And it went ahead and the check engine light went away. Started working again. But I'm just, again, preventative measures, and just get your wire brush. You pretty much just clean it like this. Right now we'll hit it with some brake cleaner, but this is just a little bit of preventative maintenance so that you're good to go. Just clean it just like that. You can see all that carbon soot. Look, man, I hate these emission systems. So this has happened to me before, guys, to where it'll give me a check engine light like that and I'll clean it, and sometimes it'll just work for Sometimes it's worked for a day. Sometimes it's, you know, this, I've changed this valve quite a bit over the years. But it was saying it was stuck closed. It wasn't giving me a fault on it. So more than likely it was just that it just got caught up in here and it wasn't letting this thing open up. But just for preventative measures, I always keep a spare one, a brand new remanufactured one on the truck, because this is one of those components when your truck has the stupid emission systems on it, it won't work. If this valve is not operational, it's going to prevent the truck from regenning, and then that's going to be a bigger issue. So I usually like to keep a spare one on the truck just in case this one goes out. You guys saw just how fast I took it off. It's not really, oh, at least in my particular truck, it's not that horrible, you know. But I just keep it on the truck just in case, you know, because then it stops regenning and it's going to be a pain in the butt. Let me get some brake cleaner. It's just as simple as that. Your EGR might look a little different, but essentially it's going to be the same thing. I'm going to hit it with some brake cleaner. You want to have it down so that that brake cleaner doesn't get in the little solenoid in there. Just get my towel, just kind of clean it manually. Now, if I were to take this to the dealer, you already know what the answer to that's going to be. Your EGR valve is bad. And a lot of times they're not bad, they're just dirty. It's just all that soot from the engine getting recirculated back into your intake, right? AKA, that's why it's called an exhaust recirculation valve. Or exhaust gas recirculation, EGR valve. But that's already looking a lot better. What do you guys think? We're going to give it a little bit more, put a little bit of juice on this bad boy right here. And this is pretty much all you guys got to do, guys, is just clean the EGR so there's just no obstructions or anything to it. This valve, I remember I used to buy it for like $200 and something, man. It's insanely expensive now. It is insanely expensive. I think the one that I have right now on the truck, I think I paid like almost $500 for this stupid valve, man. But unfortunately, it needs it, or it doesn't need it. The engine can do without it, but since I'm not deleted and I have an emissions truck, in my particular case, I have to have it. Otherwise, like I said, the system won't regen. Let's hit it with a little bit more brake cleaner. And like I said, the number one thing you want to make sure is that valve, as you guys can see it right here, it opens and closes the way it's supposed to. A lot of times when they get stuck, when you get them open, like if you get a code that says that this is not working correctly, you'll try to push this and it'll be hard. You won't be able to open and close it that way. So just a little FYI for you guys. Let's get this bad boy nice and clean. Clean the connector there. All right, it's time for reinstallation. All right, so now we're just gonna go ahead and clean that surface area so that these gaskets can seal good, particularly this side. All right. Get all that Oh, that's soot. Come on, stay on there. All right. Let's go ahead and put this valve back on. Now this, guys, doesn't always work. Especially, it just really depends on the code that you get. In my particular case, I just got that it was stuck. So a lot of times just cleaning it up like that does the trick for you. But if you have like a code that where it says that it failed, or it's circuitry, or it's showing open or short or something like that, then it can be numerous amount of things. Sometimes it's the valve itself, but a lot of times it can also be wiring. Now in my particular case, I know that wiring harness, I changed the entire wiring harness a couple of months ago, so it's highly unlikely that it's wiring. I mean, it's always a possibility, right? Anything's possible, but I know for a fact that, due to the fact that this has happened to me before, I know that it's just dirty. But that would be the first thing that I would check, guys, if you're having an EGR fault, is, try to clean it first, before you buy another one. I mean, this is something that can be do it yourself. Now, there is no way that you can mess this up. As you guys can see, there's an arrow there. So obviously we want the direction to be into the intake. So it's going to go like that. And remember, if you guys forget or whatever, you could always take a picture. If I were to put it this way, the connector would be up here. And we know for a fact that it was like this, but it's directional. So that's not too horrible. Let's go ahead and put this bad boy here. All right. Let's put this right here in like that. Let's get a bolt so that we can line her up. So we got one of the bolts in here, making sure the gasket's good. Bada bing, bada boom. I went ahead and put anti-seize on it for the same reason, right? Because I know that eventually I'm going to have to take this valve off again, and the last thing you want to do is strip those threads out and then have to replace the whole intake. That would not be fun. All right, now we gotta just tighten her up. All right. Get my extension, and then we're going to go ahead and torque them down by hand. I can make it fit in here, huh? All right, now let me get my wrench and do it by hand. All right, guys, so we're going to go ahead and do this by hand because I don't want to strip it out with the impact gun. This is, I think it's aluminum. I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure it is aluminum. But nevertheless, we don't want to put too much beans on it and then break it, or not break it, but strip it. Okay, so we got everything tightened up here. Now all we got to do is just tighten up this bad boy right here. And we'll be golden. All right. Uh-oh. Got my glove caught up. That's good enough. Let me do that by hand because, again, I don't want to strip it. Make sure she's nice and tight. Sometimes you got to get that hand feeling. That's good. Oh, it's kind of loose. There you go. There we go. And that's it, guys. There you go. We got it connected right here. We've got the 4 bolts. Got 1, 2, 3, and 4 right there. And then we just take this off. You got an O-ring here, there, and there. In a nutshell, guys, that's how you guys get it taken care of. Now the only test we got to do is just key it on and make sure it does a sweep test. It'll open and close. And make sure that we don't have a check engine light. But that would be the very first thing that I would do. You guys saw how easy it is. On my particular model, it's a little bit easier than others just because it's accessible. But I know like on the DD15, DD13, it's a little bit more work just because of the location and where it's at. It's right below where the turbo is at. But the valve looks different and everything, but you pretty much can clean it the same way. I find that this procedure works 9 times out of 10, honestly. But normally when it starts giving me that code, just from my experience in my truck, that means that eventually it's going to go out. And that's the reason why I carry a separate one in the truck. Just in case it goes out, I can easily do that in a truck stop or whatever. I've done it before. But that could be a big prevention. I normally do that. It was about time right now. I usually take it off every year and I'll clean it like that way. So it was kind of around that time anyway. But the truck just made me do it. But let's go ahead and key it on and make sure that it went off. All right, let's go ahead and key her on. And there we go. Okay, so that's how you guys clean the EGR valve. If you guys are having an issue with it, one thing you can try, especially like if you have on the DD15 platform, is you could just get like a little screwdriver or something and just tap on it if you get the code to where it gets stuck. Like if you're not in a position to take it off at that point. A lot of times that works. Usually those valves will stick over time just because when they get dirty, and I found that they like to stick when it's cold outside. I don't know why, but there's been times where I'll get like a little torch and just put a little bit of heat on it, give it a couple of taps, and she's good to go. But this is a good maintenance procedure that you guys can do. I usually do this once a year. It was around that time anyway. And it's pretty simple, just with a wire brush, a little bit of brake cleaner, reassemble everything, and you're good to go. I like to go the extra mile in keeping one on board, just because of what I explained before. Without that valve working correctly, your truck's going to waste more fuel, it's going to create more soot, and it's not going to allow it to regen. And the main one is that it won't regen. I'll eventually end up getting derated and all of that stupid nightmare, you know what I mean? So I usually do that once a year just for prevention. But I hope this video helps somebody out that might be having an EGR problem. This can be a little fix for you. It doesn't always work. If your valve is bad, you're going to have to just replace it. But I find just giving it a little clean like that, like I said, it might look different, but the procedure is going to be pretty much the same. Just clean all the soot around it, hit it with a little bit of brake cleaner, and you're good to go. But if you guys like the video, guys, give me a big thumbs up, share the content, comment down below if you're having any issues or if you have any questions. Feel free to subscribe, and we'll catch you guys on the next one. Stay safe. Peace out.
Like, share, and subscribe.